Hi viewers, in this video we'll discuss about fetching entities using queries in JPA. Before that I introduce myself, I'm Shankar. I'm working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Let's go to the video. In this we'll discuss about how we are fetching entities using queries in JPA. JPA involves retrieving data from the database through JPQL, Java Persistence Query Language, Criteria API, and native SQL queries. These are the three ways we are using to fetch the entities using queries in JPA. And this is a crucial aspect of working with JPA as it allows for flexibility and control over how data is retrieved. Let's see one by one. First, we'll see JPQL, that is Java Persistence Query Language. JPQL is a query language similar to SQL but operates on entity object model rather than directly on the database table. Let's see some basic SQL JPQL queries. In this first, let's see about how we are selecting all the objects from the entity. So two lines of code is given that helps you to retrieve all the objects from the given entity. So here the entity is person. First, they have created a string object that is JPQL is equal to the value of string object is select P from person P. So which means that it creates a JPQL query to select all objects of the person entity and it fetches every record of P from the person table mapped by the person entity class. And next line we have list persons equal to entity manager dot create query jpql comma person dot class dot get result list. So the entity manager dot create query of jpql comma person dot class tells that the JPA to prepare the query and expect results of typed person. And next it has a method called get result list over here. That get result list executes the query in the database and returns a list of all persons object. Next here we have list persons persons. So it stores the fetched person entities that JPA retrieved from the database. And next, let's see how we are filtering the results. Because in previous query, we have seen that it retrieve all the field from the given entity. For example, from the person, it retrieve all the data, all the fields. But if you want to filter, we have to assign the condition values with var class. So here the object string object JPQL contains select P from person P where P dot age is greater than colon age. So here value has not given. So it has given some variable called colon age. Next typed query person query equal to entity manager dot create query JPQL comma person dot class. So this already we had discussed this line. So let us see what is typed query. Typed query in JPA is a type safe query object that returns results of specific entity type. And next we have the third line we have query dot set parameter. So in the first line already I told you that for checking the age condition we have not assigned any value. Instead we have given colon age. For that variable we need to assign a value. For setting these values we have used query dot set parameter age of 30. So now that age value is 30. And the next last line list persons is equal to query dot get result list. So here it execute the query and fetches matching results entities from the database, and those details has been stored to the person entities that JPA retrieved from the database. And the next third one, how we are executing join in this JPQL. So for the queries having query is stored in the string objects JPQL, select P from person P, join P dot passport, passport where passport dot number is equal to number. So here we are joining the table called person and passport. The person who's having a passport, those details have been joined. So here we have used only inner join. We did not use any left outer or right outer joins. So we have used only simple inner join. So typed query person query equal to entity manager dot create query of jpql comma person dot class and query dot set parameter. So here the number value we have specified that 1 2 3 4 5, and finally this query will be executed with the help of get result list method. Next type is Criteria API. Criteria API provides a type-safe way to construct queries programmatically. It is useful for dynamic queries and avoids the use of string-based JPQL queries. First, let's see how the basic queries will be executed in Criteria API. So here we have a class called Criteria Builder, and we have created the object for Criteria Builder as CB is equal to entity manager dot get criteria builder. So which gets a criteria builder object used to construct the queries programmatically. And next second line criteria query person query equal to cb dot create query of person dot class. It creates a type safe query that will return the person entity. And next we have root person equal to query dot from of person dot class, which defines the root entity for the query. The root entity is person. And next we have called next line we have query dot select of person. So here it specifies that what we want to select all fields of the person entity. And finally we have list persons person equal to entity manager dot create query of query dot get results. So in this last line stores the fetched person entities that the JPA retrieved from the database. And next, for the criteria API, how we are filtering attributes from the table. So as we know that criteria builder CB equal to entity manager dot get criteria builder, which is helps you to get a criteria builder object used to construct queries programmatically. And second line criteria query person query equal to cb dot create query of person class, which helps you to create a type safe query that will return a person entities. And the third line root person equal to query dot from of person dot class, which defines the root entity for the query. And here you just look at here query dot select of person. So it selects the person entity dot where cb dot greater than, so which applies the condition greater than person dot get age. So in person table it gets the attribute called age comma 30. So which means that it checks the age field who are having more than 30 age. And finally the last line is list of persons equal to entity manager dot create query of query dot get result list. So which executes the query in the database and returns a list of all persons objects and store the fetched person entities that JPA retrieved from the database. And finally, we are executing joining concept with criteria API. So here first three lines are same criteria builder CB equal to entity manager dot get criteria builder criteria query person query equal to CB dot create query person dot class and root person is equal to query dot from person dot class. These are all three lines we have discussed. So newly we have join of person comma passport. So here we are applying joining concept with person and passport. Passport join is an object of this list is equal to person dot join of passport. Query dot select. So it selects person entity dot where cb dot is equal to passport join dot get number. So here it gets the passport number as 1 2 3 4 5. So the person who's having 1 2 3 4 5 number, so all that details will be joined with the persons. So finally it executes the query with the help of the last line, that is list persons is equal to entity manager dot create query of query dot get result list. And the third type of queries, native SQL queries. The native SQL queries are SQL statements directly executed on the database. This is useful when you need to use database specific features or SQL that is not easily expressed in JPQL. So here, let us see the basic native SQL query, which helps you to retrieve all the data, all the fields, all the objects from the person entity. So string object is declared. The string object name is SQL. So the value of SQL is select star from person. This is well-known query, you know very well, because select star from is select all the fields from the table. So it retrieves all the data from the table called person. So query equal to query is a class name. And next query is an object is equal to entity manager dot create native query, which helps you to execute the query which is assigned in the string, and the table called person, and list persons is equal to query dot get result. So here all the data has been retrieved from the person table. Next, how we are applying filtering with native SQL query. So here string SQL. So the string contains select star from person where age is greater than question mark. Question mark which represents that we are assigning the values dynamically. And query, next line, second line. Query is a class. Query, next query is an object. Entity manager dot create native query SQL comma person dot class, which means that that query is assigned in the SQL string and that query will be applied on the person table. And next query dot set parameter 1 comma 30. Here 1 represents that first question mark. In case if this is very simple query, in case if you are writing any complex queries, maybe multiple question mark is there. So that here while assigning the values for the question mark with set parameter, the first parameter value specifies that the position of the question mark. So here we have only one question mark. So the first question mark value is 30. That is what represent here query dot set parameter 1 comma 30. And as usual, list persons is equal to query dot get results, means it executes the query and retrieve all the JPA results from the database. Next one is JPQL pagination. Pagination, as we know very well from the huge number of data in the database, if we want to retrieve any specific set of data, we can go for pagination concept. So for example, a database contains many tables. So if you want to retrieve data from the person table, so that is actually given here. String JPQL select P from person P. P is an object. It retrieves all the data from the person table. So typed query person query equal to entity manager dot create query JPQL comma person dot class. So here you just see query dot set first result of 0, which means that 0 represents the position of a data in the table. So 0th position of data, first data is retrieved. And next query dot set max results. So from 0, maximum 10 results we can retrieve. Right. So for example, instead 0, if you're giving 5, then fifth position data from the 10 datas. Okay, maximum 10 results. And finally, it executes the query called list persons. Person is equal to query dot get result list. So in this way, we can apply pagination concepts in JQL. The same we can apply with criteria builder. So in criteria builder, we are creating an object called CB equal to entity manager dot get criteria builder. And criteria query, this is all already we had discussed. Criteria query person query equal to CB dot create query of person dot class, and root, it creates a root as a person, that is a root person. This person is actually object equal to query dot from of person dot class. So here query dot select, it select the person objects, and typed query person typed query equal to entity manager dot create query of query. So here we have giving the limits pagination concept. So it initially it starts from 0th position, and from the 0th position it maximum retrieve 10 records. Even though if it consists of 1000 2000 lakhs and lakhs records, it doesn't retrieve all the records. It's only retrieves whatever we have specified here, that many records will be retrieved here. Finally, it will be executed with the last line list persons is equal to typed query dot get result list. I thank you all for watching this lecture series. Thank you once again.